Alright. What's going on, guys? Let's see. Back at it again. We've got Monday's footage from the open mat. So let's get into it. What's going on, Joe? Just gonna be myself in the chat tonight. Mike's a busy boy these days. Oh yeah, Caleb calls me out first thing. I don't think Caleb and I have had a first match, like a first round, in a long time, so I wasn't thrilled about this. Also, his takedown offense is getting better, so not knowing. Yeah, for sure. Sorry, let's see. Pedro and Justin. Got Jason and Chris back there. Duncan and Josh. Caleb really working those heavy collar ties, breaking my posture down. And the only reason that takedown of his didn't work, I was able to create space on the way down, and then just the head pressure was enough to keep him from quickly initiating a top control position on me. So still not out of the woods yet. Really good control over the leg to force me to my back. See Braden and Danny. We got Joe and Gavin in the side. What's up, Mango? So one thing you'll notice, myself, I know Mike, Cole's been working with this too. Anytime guys try to body lock us, we really emphasize the forward shift, where like Luke was talking about, I think this class, like at the fundamentals class, I think it was this night, when he was going over his Kimuras, he was talking about controlling the hips really well, like pulling the hips in towards you. That was in the context of like shutting down a Kimura. Here, in the context of a body lock, I like to create as much space as I can. That way I can, in this case at least, hit the sweep I'm about to hit. But that forward shift involves pulling your knees to your chest to kind of load your opponent up over you, and then sitting up and extending your knees forward to get them out and away from you, and their knees back further away. And if done really well against, like, an opponent maybe closer to your size, you can get them to kind of sprawl out a bit. So now I have this room where I can turn to a side once I have a feeling which way Caleb's gonna go, or I think in this case I have his head on this side. I can start to favor that side as I fall and get a sweep. So you can see I'm really trying to take him over in that direction. And I was using an arm-in guillotine threat on that as well to encourage him to roll. No gi is the best gi. And then, let's see, we got Rush and I believe his name was Corbin over here. I didn't get to talk to Corbin too much. I don't know if he had trained before or what. And as always, since there's so many people on the mat and it's just myself on the stream today, let me know if I'm missing anything good in other roles, please. I'll be happy to go over it. Throughout this, I was really trying to experiment with a few different ways of breaking down Caleb from his turtle position. But then at one point, I reach over just for like that standard seatbelt grip, or power half Nelson grip, at least thinking about setting it up. And foolishly, I didn't set up to shut down his Maki Komi, and he got a good roll on that. And that's about where I spend the rest of that match. What happened with Corbin and Rush here on the side? Okay. Let's do that one more time. So seeing as it's closed guard week, try to point out some closed guard principles here too. Rush is obviously working from an open guard now, but he's taking a tactic out of the closed guard book, using a 2-on-1 to control the arm. It looks like he doesn't get it all the way across the body to expose the back, but here he uses that 2-on-1 control, and the fact that Corbin loaded himself up on Rush's legs to get the back exposure. So not quite a closed guard tactic, but similar. Meanwhile, Braden working towards an omoplata or a triangle. Let's see how we got there. So we're looking right here. Looks like Danny's throwing a couple things at him to work on. Corbin has not trained. Okay. So Danny's got a side or actually that wasn't exactly a side triangle. It's closer to, is that a side triangle? I think maybe it is. He's doing it on a different side than I do it. He doesn't have the top arm locked. Yeah, I think it is a side triangle. And Braden going back to a guard, working his shoulder crunch. I like this little detail Braden does here to get his hips out. I was telling you guys this when I was walking around. Getting your hips out to the side can be a risk. Like, it's an important thing to do, but there are risks involved when you do it. Namely, you have to unlock your legs. A lot of times, the first thing people do is they would put this foot on the mat and shift their hips out, right? Which Braden almost does, but he adjusts well and keeps his hips up. Instead, to get his hips out, what he does is he uses his hamstring on this leg and kind of pushes against Danny with his leg. That helps him get his hips out without letting his leg drift too low to the mat. The risk in that is that Danny could pin the leg and step over it, and work a guard pass from there, and a pretty easy one at that. But see how he kind of shoves off Danny's body with that leg and starts to move his hips to a more advantageous angle. Guy was rolling to try to get a collar tummy, ended up breaking the back of my neck. Dude, if I had a nickel for every time that happened to me. I think all y'all think I'm joking when I say trim your nails at the end of the stream. I feel like every other week I get a scratch on the back of my neck from someone who lets their nails go a little bit too long before coming to class. Pablo on a rear naked strangle here against Justin. Justin doing a good job fighting at the long end of the lever, trying to clear that strangle. Not looking too phased because his hips are free and he's misaligning himself to shut down the strangle. So you can see here, the average person might look at this and think Justin's in a lot of trouble. But Justin I assume he felt comfortable there because his hips were free to move and the control over the body to set in the strangle wasn't there. Yeah, it's an important one, Mango, I think. Just because, like, it's a useful thing to try, not just from closed guard to cut your angle, but you'll find other positions where that leg pressure is important. Like, even in leg locks, it's a crucial detail for control or for moving yourself. It's kind of a way to use your legs a little bit like your arms. Like, you know, we think about moving ourselves typically with our hands and our arms doing the work, but your legs play a very important role in that too. Cut the angles and triangle. Yeah, absolutely. That's another great example of that move. Because you kind of kink your legs and point your knees in one direction to cut your angle. Obviously, digging on the leg may help, or digging on the arm if you're trying to cut the angle. But yeah, using your legs just takes it a step further that I think really tightens it up for everybody. Looks like Corbin's having fun understanding what the principles of jiu-jitsu can accomplish. Here I am body shaming Caleb while he smashes me from the top position. Did Luke and Caleb? Okay, Caleb started on the ground. Gotcha. So for Braden and Gavin, because Gavin gets me here a lot too, when you guys get to this rear takedown position, I feel like you're treating it like you were the standard Ashigarami, like when you guys kind of think about it for a second and then you go, okay, it's there, let me throw my legs up into position. You're getting to the spot, you're taking a beat to think about what you want to do, which is fine for now, especially in the training room. I'd like to see you guys a bit more quickly making this dynamic. Like, you're standing still here a little too long for my liking. Whenever I get behind somebody like this, I'm either rushing them forward or pulling them backwards or cutting angles, taking them to the sides. I don't let them get still. From here, this is where I can start to get my thumbs into your grip, start disrupting your hand grip, base out against you, whatever. If you keep me in motion, you know, almost falling forward, almost falling backward, my hands aren't going to be as so focused on your grip, and then you can quickly go to the takedown you do now when you feel me, like, you know, trying to stand up, pushing backwards or something like that. So I love that you guys have an answer for that position. Now I want to see you guys setting it up a little bit better, being a bit more dynamic with it, not being too still for too long. That's just going to give your opponent an opportunity to escape. We got Josh and the triumphant return of Sean. I don't know if you're in the chat, man, but again, good to see you back on the mats. Coming back with a little bit of muscle on him, having not missed a beat. Lady K is a single pair of gi pants during no gi. Oh man, yeah. Well, leave it to Tuesday or Thursday footage. You'll definitely see gi pants on that. Oddly enough, they use it better. That's fine. And honestly, I would rather. I mean, like, since they do wrestling, I think it's even more important there. Wrestling is just so much more dynamic, and you have to be fast for 6 minutes or however their rounds break out. I know it's slightly different for them, but that's good as long as they're doing it somewhere, you know. And in wrestling, it's probably a bit more important. But I mean, if it makes you guys feel any better, that move translates perfectly over to jiu-jitsu. So don't overthink it, like you're saying. Just do the damn move, execute it quickly. And remember, I'm not encouraging you to do that move quickly. I'm encouraging you to not stand behind me and think about what to do next. Get me moving. Get your opponent moving. That will do you. That will pay off very well for you, Mago, if you put it to work. I've been kind of doing the same. I've been juggling between leg lock stuff, tightening up my leg lock game, and then working on all the stand-up stuff I've been talking about on the stream for the last couple of weeks. Which, you know, credit to our students. I think most of you guys actually enjoy the stand-up game and want to develop it. And a lot of schools, a lot of jiu-jitsu guys can't say the same. They're content to start down or just pull guard and not really learn how to get somebody off balance and put them down. What did Braden do to me there? I think he got me. Oh, that was a good guillotine. That's what that was. Pretty sure. cinched up a guillotine. Let's see, we got... So Josh struggling to get through, or not struggling, but working on getting past Sean's butterfly guard here. So Sean putting to work the forward shift as well to further set up that guillotine. That was good defense by Sean. Let's go back a little bit further to where this started. So for Josh, well, let me see. So it looks like Sean has to dig in pretty deep on this guillotine to get it at some point, because your head position isn't, it's off to one side, which is like whatever, but it didn't look especially loose. It looks like Sean just kind of slowly, okay, yeah, he's using the forward shift to set up the guillotine, which is good. That's really good. Josh, for you, if you want to play with this body lock more, at least from this initial position, and talk to Luke about this too, because Luke uses it to much better success than I do. Think about your head positioning. Again, it's not terrible that it's on the outside here. It's gonna be as you start to get around a leg, but before you do, you could keep your head up the center a bit more, and that's going to, one, obscure your intentions as far as which side you're gonna try to pass to. Here, Sean knows that you're gonna try to pass onto his right side. Oh, okay, perfect. And yeah, Luke, chime in with anything else that you think I need to add. But like keeping your head on the center here can help you initially, get your grip, take your time to get your grip, ensure that he's flat. If he tries to forward shift, you can fight that back and get him flat again. And then as you pin a leg, that's where you can start to favor your head to one side or the other. But in the meantime here, if you keep it on that side and he hits his forward shift, that's probably best. That's probably a good time to disengage. Make sure that your head is not totally in danger, or your neck is not in danger. You can also take a more risky approach, depending on how long you want to hold out through the guillotine. Once he sets it in, keep in mind that there isn't a guillotine once you get to cross side. So like, people often panic. This is one of those like white belt rules that you could kind of start to bend or break later on. People always say, first thing, protect your neck, right? Very true. Great principle to follow. With a guillotine, if you have the confidence that you can pass the legs quickly enough, you can focus your hands to his knees or his leg to get them under your control, pass, and then once you're cross-side on him, you don't really care about that guillotine threat anymore. So if you're immediately fighting the strangle, then you're not going to be able to control his legs and get around them. If you take the risk to control his legs while you're in that strangle and you have a few seconds, you can pass and then get safe. I hope that makes sense. If not, let me know and we'll talk about it in class. Shut up, Luke. Where's Pac-Man? Wait, are you talking about Mike? Where's Pac-Man? Yeah, keep playing with the body lock though. I feel like talk to Luke, or keep talking to Luke, talk to Cole about it. Even Caleb uses it. He's getting a lot better at the body lock. Yeah, I mean, the Von Flue works. Like there's I'll never tell someone not to lay on some heavy shoulder pressure from that guillotine. But more, you're not going to get there if you don't get around the legs first. And getting around the legs is I mean, passing guard is a whole project in and of itself, right? See, Brandon and Rush. Focus on them for a second here. Oh wait, look at Caleb getting in on a leg lock. Unfortunately, lost a little momentum there. I want to look at Rush's back take. Looks like he sets it up from mounts. Looking right here. Yeah, I think Brandon got got by the gift wrap. And then Rush sets up his body triangle. I feel like Brandon knows how to handle. I think when I've rolled with him, he's given my body triangle some trouble. Rush switching back to hooks. I don't see enough of a lower body fight from Brandon here. I'd like him to step that up a bit as far as you know, stepping on the legs. Once Rush switches back to hooks, that's where I want to see him trying to step on the bottom leg with his top leg. Right now, the way he's curling his left leg back, it's not really doing him any favors. It just kind of locks the hook in place. Here he had a second to right here turn so much harder and faster than that. I think Justin and I were discussing this during the last stream. Right, this kind of sitting up and away from your opponent. Here, Rush is actually disengaging to try to sneak his hand underneath the head and recollect. This is a good time for Brandon to shoot this shoulder to the mat and try to get that elbow down. Tall order with Rush's grip, but you gotta take the chances that are given to you. Rush doing a good job here. Slowly setting in the strangling arm. Not even really playing the standard hand fight game. I don't know if he was over the chin or not, but enough pressure for Brandon to tap. With Luke. So Luke and I guess Caleb said whatever and didn't take the leg back. All right. Bold move, Cotton. Slamming Braden down. Oh, what's Gavin got going on over here? I'll answer your question in 1 minute, Mango. Let's see if Gavin can finish this reverse triangle. I think he's with Duncan here. Looks like Duncan may have a bit too much access to the legs to pull this off. And the angle might not be there for that triangle, for the strangle. But this is good. He's digging on the arm, using the triangle for control. Oh, and yeah, he does. So, okay, Gavin doesn't have the arm in. He only has the head. So a bit of a head scissor. There we go. Good switch. Nice. And then Gavin, just to tighten this up, I think I've talked about this one with you. And you're probably already thinking, you probably already know what I'm going to say. But here, good arm extension. Remember, I want you to give him the what I've been calling the hey buddy, right? Where when you say what's up to your buddy and you dap him up, I want you to make that same kind of hand grip with him, because then you're controlling all the way at the end of the lever. And if you have his left arm in a standard armbar, pull it over your left hip. Don't just hip into it. Break it over your hip, not over the center of your body. But either way, that was a great switch all around. He was already out. Well, grab his knee and put it back in, Caleb. All right? Have a little gumption. Question about sit-outs. Can you only use it if the person sprawling on top has their knees off the mat? No, absolutely not. In fact, I would... I don't want to say which one's better or worse. Frankly, I suck at the traditional sit-out. Or I feel like I suck because I only ever try it probably against Luke, and Luke just slams me down anyway. No, whether or not their knees are off the mat doesn't really matter. If their knees are off the mat, they're not as heavy on you, so it should be easier to get their weight off of you. However, they're a bit more nimble when you're already, like when you're making your escape. If their knees are off the mat, more of their weight is on you, right? So they're prone to that fall a little bit. But you are having to deal with their weight a little bit. Sit out example coming. Perfect. If if you're going against somebody your size, honestly, I'd probably say it's a wash whether or not they have their knee on the ground. What's important about their knees on the ground. I think what's important about the sit out is your transition after. You can't just sit out and then not make a quick move to take the back or re-guard or whatever. The sit-out's great. That's the start of the move. You have to make a quick transition somewhere else after that. You have to go to the back, sit to guard, Granby roll, whatever you want to do. That's the most important part. And where their knees are, I personally don't think it affects it that much. I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. Was the sit out in this match? Oh, okay, here we go. So we'll look at Luke and Caleb. So it looks like we got a case of knees off the mat. Maybe? Oh, okay, no, just a single leg. Now, I have seen, in fact, I may have just seen it today or yesterday in some footage. I have seen sit-out counters from, okay, it was with Danny. I have seen sit-out counters where the opponent on top anticipates it. So they kind of let up a little bit, and then as the sit-out happens, they kind of let the person go by and then, like, readjust or maybe arm drag or something, and they get into a pinning position. I saw it in folk style, like collegiate wrestling footage or something like that. I'll have to find that again. So every move in this sport has a counter, but there are ways to handle those sit outs when they happen. Again, probably a lot easier against someone around your size. So we'll look for a sit out with Luke and Danny when that happens. Got Cole and Danny, Josh and Luke, Sean and myself. Takedown by Cole. So Danny shoots on a double leg, but Cole manages to keep him going. Let's see who comes out on top with this. Cole laying on a head scissor. The hell did you do, Luke? Oh, you jerk. Luke demonstrating the Estima lock from the last class for leg attacks. So Danny, let's see. Cole's got the head scissor on. Danny goes on the attack on that arm, but I don't think he has a good enough angle to really threaten Cole with a straight arm. Cole manages to take top position. See that takedown setup. So collar tie, snapping down to the cross side, front headlock position, arm in. A little ukiwaza to get the takedown. A la Gordon Ryan, Keenan Cornelius, among many other examples. You set up counters. Most people only go to one side anyways. Yeah, that's true. Count how many subs Luke gets here. You count. I can't keep track. I did count just in reviewing some footage when I was editing it together. Luke tapping Justin, not this Justin, other Justin, like 9 times in a row after Justin said, "All right, take it to me. Let's go." 9 times in 6 minutes, I think. And yeah, now Luke has the mounted position. Got the arm, the left elbow over the shoulder line here. So this is Smother City. And I know the pain, bro. I Alright, a lot going on with close guard stuff here. This is good. So, first let's check out Cole and Danny. Danny working to the standing guard break. And here he's gotten to the upright position, but Cole's hanging his weight off of him as a last ditch to break his posture down. Remember, if you've been in class and you heard me ranting about it, or if you heard me ranting about it on the stream lately, a lot of you guys fail at the standing guard breaks because you don't stand up to an upright posture. That leaves opportunity for your opponent to break you back down to your knees, or get you off balance, or set up triangles or arm bars even. So there we go. Now Danny's upright, immediately gets his hands to a knee, gets that bounce, and Cole has to break his legs open. Cole inverts the knee, comes up into almost a standard Ashi position. The only I would have liked to have seen, let's see. So I would like to see Cole, this leg, your shoelaces go inside Danny's hip here, or inside the thigh, and then the right leg, as it comes over, I need you stepping on the hip here. I need your heel on the hip and your knee covering that heel, just to set up an Orimi Ashi. From this point, you guys are in kind of a mutual Ashi position, and this is what happens. You go into a quick shootout position. So this is cool. So Cole scoops the ankle, rolls towards it. In doing so, he puts himself in danger due to the leg configuration they have. So Cole makes the first move and exposes his own heel in doing so. As he turns to attack Danny's leg, he exposes his own heel. That's the danger of this mutual Ashi position, where they're not, this one's a little different. Well, no, neither one has a leg isolated, is the best way to consider this. It's not exactly 50-50. It's 50-50, but with the legs kind of a little wider. So as Cole, just notice the big takeaway here, as Cole rolls to the right, his own heel becomes exposed. So Danny does the right thing here in setting this on. Now, I can't see what sort of grip Cole is applying. I don't know if he gets a heel hook here or a toe hold or what. I'm going to assume a toe hold, because you can put the break of a toe hold on a lot faster than you can a heel hook if you get your grips. But yeah, that was an interesting little shootout between the two of them. And then meanwhile, we got Andrew in the foreground here with Brandon. Standing guard break, stands upright, but Brandon's elbow deep on that leg, and manages to get Brandon off balance enough to get a sweep. It's not quite a headstand sweep, but it gets Andrew moving forward, and that allows him to get his hips up and take the top position. Two good examples of what can happen in that standing guard break. Pillar Callaway, yeah, it does that. Earn Your Gold on Instagram has some. Yeah, good call, Caleb. I actually have been seeing their stuff pop up a lot now. That's a good channel to follow. DPS breakdowns as well is another one. So with Cole and Danny here on the side. Okay, Danny shoots another single. That's what happens there. Wait, hold on. What happened with... Okay, sorry, let's give Brandon his due. Brandon not only comes up to the mount, but cuts the corner and works this 3/4 armbar. This is super slick, man. Looks like he was trying to play the lat finish there, but just didn't have the right, the arm in the right position. But is right on the end of the arm, nicely, gently hipping in. Excellent, good partner, good finish, good transition. That was great, Brandon. See how much Gavin struggles with your back defense, Justin. He seems to be doing well holding on. I don't know about dealing with the misalignment though. Gavin, for what it's worth, Justin's very good at prolonging that battle. So Danny back up to the standing guard break again. Cole trying to get in on the legs, but Danny staying well aware of the threat. Cole, this is a good time. I know the other group's in the way, but this is a good time where you can extend your leg to get Danny's hands planted to the mat above your head and reopen opportunities for the leg locks. Meanwhile, Danny, let's see, Danny's working his leg pummeling, kind of a little loose passing, hip switching, knee cutting, good. Good steady passing pressure. Everybody gravitating together. Andrew for the end of this round. So let's look at this leg configuration. You've got kind of a similar setup to what we saw Danny and Cole working with, that like mutual ashi where, well, it's not mutual, but you don't really have that leg locked up. I like that you have this Achilles grip. This is good. So you take your left leg over and across, and now you're getting closer to an outside ashi where like your legs are on the outside of Brandon's body. There you go. With this Achilles grip, this is Mike's bread and butter. Like he works very well with this position, and I would highly encourage you to talk to him about handling this. He can articulate it better than I can. Oh, speak to the devil. Brandon was in a really good leg drag position on Andrew. Yeah, so it's funny you mentioned that. Brandon's in the leg drag. Andrew is in. Yeah, I'm looking at it from the leg lock offense because that's all I've been watching lately. But from here, like this is where I often find myself. You know, when I'm trying to attack a leg lock on you guys, and you stack forward and pressure into me, using the Achilles grip, which a little high right now. You're not going to finish the Achilles, so it's not like crucial that I be down around the ankle, but controlling that ankle, and then instead of hugging over the head, which I almost always tell you guys you shouldn't be doing, and I don't know why none of you ever listen to me, let's take this arm in front of your opponent and post on like the cross-side lat, like you're reaching across his chest and you're posting on the lat. This bottom leg can plant the ball of your foot into the mat and elevate your hips and start to invert. You're going to start to roll around towards the outside of Brandon here, and that's going to do, it could do one of like 2 or 3 things. It can either roll you guys completely all the way around to where he's then sitting on his butt, you're an outside ashi and you could start over. There are some sneaky little backstep style, well, not backstep because you're kind of inverted, but like fun entrances into cross ashi on the opposite leg if that comes up. Maybe that's more from standard ashi, but either way, the Achilles grip and the roll is going to be your friend here in recovering this position and being able to go back on the attack. For Brandon, what Mike's alluding to in the chat is cross-facing and then sprawling this leg away. And all of a sudden, once that grip breaks, once that Achilles grip is lost by Andrew, you've got both legs on the same side of your body and you're in prime position to pass. So it looks like you're really trying. Andrew's doing a good job creating some space here. This is a good little fight from the two of you. That was nice. Cole and Joe. Cole with the heavy, steady pressure to get to that mount position. Keeping his head very, very low. Not not only to like lay some misery on, but it keeps the center of gravity really low and keeps a base close to the ground for that exact reason, what we're seeing here. Joe bridging to his left, or trying to bridge to his left. Cole can plant his forehead and keep Joe pinned while he tries to progress through the mount. Caleb and Josh do anything fancy here? Josh pulled guard. Looks like Jason and Justin are getting after it. Cole with the... Unfortunately, the camera resolution is not good enough for me to corroborate that accusation. Caleb's setting up to an arm triangle, but has a little ways to go to get there. Nice, getting to a mounted armbar. That was solid. I think you mentioned that to me, Caleb, this match. Just want to see this. So, from side control, getting the far side underhook and pinning it with the head, keeping it elevated, and then yeah, this is the same idea of I was telling you about getting S mount on me. I'll let you two fight it out. If so, you don't have the other underhook here. I don't think. Yeah, look, like Josh's, you can kind of see Josh's arm bent and under your leg here, the secondary arm. If you had that up, this is a prime example of what I was telling you for cutting the angle on S mount. So you've got the right idea already. This is where you want to be. You want to be looking across your opponent with your hips behind their tricep. And then honestly, this armbar that you finish in this almost S mount position is basically exactly how you would do it if it was a full S mount. So that was good. Joe, what happened to your eye, dude? Why are you bleeding again? Good job of isolating that arm. Going on the attack. The cut that just won't heal. Dealing with the head right there. Need to remember that. Yeah. ¿Qué onda ese? Está healing. I don't speak Spanish well enough to translate that, but I do know ¿Qué onda? So what's up, buddy? And thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. Pink Panther rash guard. Nail off claws. Yeah, Caleb, we need you to translate, bud. Let's see, I've missed half of this roll so far. So, see Joe working to pass the guard here. Cole on the shoulder crunch. Watch him push me in a minute. Ah, okay. Thanks, Luke. And then he said sex, yeah. Alright, so Cole's transitioning to his over the back grip. And Joe is anticipating the roll in that direction, facing out here. So Cole, with your leg hooked, you're not gonna, I mean, you're fighting against the sweep. Shove Josh down when he tries to stand. Did I miss this? Oh, right there. Yeah. Hey, man, I win a lot of scrambles that way. Oh, here we go. Nice. I really do though. Like, if I'm quick to get up to my feet and I see my opponent wants to stand, just a good push on the shoulders. That's all you need sometimes. Yeah. See, Justin disrupting Jason's standing guard break. So Jason going right in on it. So you see there briefly, Justin tries to hit the dummy sweep or the double ankle sweep, opens the legs, even drops the hips, but he can't get the push because Jason is very far forward. There's a chance here if you want to be kind of fun with it, like if you quickly switch from the double ankle up to a double wrist grip, and then kind of like we talked about earlier, extending the legs and using your hamstrings to push against them. Pick a direction, pick a shoulder, hold those arms and extend your hips up, shoot your hips up, extend your legs into him and take him over your head in that direction. Since he's leaning so far forward, it's easier, obviously, to get him going forward than it is backwards. I'm not going to say it'll work every time. Like, in fact, it might be a better idea to grab an arm and the head so you have collar and wrist control, and then take him in the direction of the wrist control. But it's, he might adjust to that as you go to make that switch. But it's a way to get him standing back, and then you could go to try to hit your double ankle sweep again. All right, so Joe has managed to pass the guard. Get into a mount position. Had those arms isolated for a second. There we go. So I'd like to see the knee coming up towards the armpit. Yeah, okay. I would say better to establish your underhook first before you start crawling up to that higher mount. Look how Joe pushes the knee through the far hip on Cole, especially with the right arm isolated. Joe, you keep that arm, you take the mount, start the arm. Let's go back and look at this. Joe pushes the knee through to pin the far hip, especially with the far arm isolated. So right around here. There we go. Yeah, go. Okay. I think that's what you're talking about, Mike. Yeah. keep that arm when you take them out. Continue to threaten. Yeah, it's a common problem against Cole. What's Danny doing over here? We're seeing some good old-fashioned Danny funky triangle work against Duncan here on the side. Which is funny because we saw Duncan on the same spot of the mat dealing with almost the same triangle against Gavin. So yeah, Danny switching, doing his better than anybody, switching to the reverse triangle from side control, and then attacking, having the double attack on that arm as well. I don't even know what Duncan tapped to here. If it was, I guess it was the, it must have been the triangle pressure then. Nice. And for those of you unaware, Danny lets go of the arm here, but notice how he aligns himself along Duncan's body. He's doing this not just to keep Duncan pinned, but also to put a bit more of the strangle on as he comes around the corner. Oh, while I'm thinking about it, I set this up. I can't do it in our channel. Yeah, absolutely, Mango. But in the chat bar, that little diamond triangle thing next to the emoji button, I think you guys can use that to send voice messages in the chat too. It costs, I think it's like $1 or however much you want. But I think for $1 you can like cheer, quote unquote, with bits and pop a voice message into the stream if you're so inclined. So we just have more ways to talk smack to each other now. And it's I think some female AI voice is what it should sound like. So we got Cole and Sean. Cole looking for a little butterfly sweep here. Immediately addressing the knee, which is good. That would be Sean's way out of this, or beginning of the way out of it. Oh no! If it was voice messages, no, I would never turn it on for you savages. I have to hear enough of your voices throughout the week. You just get to type a message and a fake voice will read it out in the chat if it works as promised. I will only handle os through the emoji. Jordan with the standing guillotine on Andrew. Let's see how you guys got there. Interesting. So Jordan lowering your level a little bit, going for this last ditch shot, which normally isn't a great idea. Andrew taking full advantage, trying to go to the 10-finger guillotine here. We're looking here. Andrew, that looks great. I'm super stoked to see you doing that. I'm sure Mike is happy too. But yeah, I guess Jordan was able to fend it off, maybe getting his head off the angle, almost a switch to possibly an anaconda there. I don't think he had the arm in. Now Jordan back on the attack, and then not going for the 10-finger guillotine, but just a standard guillotine from a standing position, actually, not sitting down. So nice, man. That was a nice little battle between the two of you there. Look the way Sean set up the pass, but I like to see the elbow super wide and post on the head for light legs. Sean's pass against Cole. Was this in the beginning? Yeah, I see what you mean. So right here, I think this is what you're saying, Mike. Yeah, keeping elbows wide, posting on the head. Yeah, yeah, this kind of like midway point between like where Sean's at right now. It's kind of like his body weight is just evenly distributed over Cole, as opposed to being very heavy on the arms, and in turn having lighter legs that makes it easier to do leg pummeling and hip switching and stuff. And then you have the, you know, the head and the hands for base as well. So Sean laying on some good mount pressure as well here. Looks like he's really fighting for the arm triangle, but his head's a little high. Cole's got the positional advantage. Well, generously speaking there, just his arm isn't in danger yet. Joe, what are you doing, bud? Nice. See Joe's transition to a knee bar here. Did you set this up from side control? Come around in like a butterfly, like a single butterfly guard from Josh. Oh. Getting fancy, taking a big old step over Josh's head. This is interesting, knowing what you're going for, because you're going, right now you're on this like, honestly, almost like a Tariqa Plata, the thing we pointed out Dan doing a few weeks back, where it's more like, it's like the Kimura pressure, but you apply it with your legs. But now, so you're going focused on trying to get Josh's arm, and then realizing, hey, I got a leg down here that I can attack. So switching from upper body to lower body attacks, often a great idea. Good adjustment on your position there to turn the corner and face the leg and get the knee bar. That was great, man. So Jordan, you've got the whizzer set up here. Kind of like I was saying to Gavin and Braden, when you get behind somebody, use it, move them. Don't take too long thinking about the position. When you got a whizzer, lay the whizzer pressure on. Drive his head down. Drive your shoulder down through him and make him wear your weight. Don't just use it and hold on. Definitely put it to work. Me pausing the video probably exaggerates the time I think that you were spending on that, but just keep that in mind. Oh, sorry, Mike, I just got your text. Let me let's bring Mike into the chat. I thought you were just staying online for because you're on daddy duty or something. Let's see. We'll get Mike Peterson here. Definitely overthinking. Yeah, it's all right, man. I mean, that's kind of what you do. Let's see. Boom. What's up, dude?
Yo.
Oh, there we go. Mango's happy to see you. Sorry, I saw you text me like 20 minutes, and I'm like, oh, he's just in the chat.
Okay.
It's fine.
I joined the chat just in case.
All right.
It's just been highlight reels this whole time. It's awesome.
Yeah, this really has been. Joe, yeah, you're right. Like, that's guard passing is maybe the next thing for you to work on. Because, you know, like, you've been working on, I think, some of the submissions you like. Obviously, the stuff I always tell white belts to work on, position escapes, sub escapes, things like that. But yeah, like those 5 steps I always talk about in a fight, guard passing is like the next thing. After you get it on the ground, got to start thinking about how you're going to pass guard. Cole thinks your chest is looking good, bro.
Nice. Hopefully I'll see everybody tomorrow. Finally back.
Yeah, you've been a rambling man.
Yeah. Yeah, and Joe, don't feel bad. Guard passing is something that I think has comes later, and for a lot of people.
Yeah. But like everything, there are some good frameworks that you can set up in thinking about how to like approach it. You know, I mean, just in this round alone, we talked about loose passing.
Yep.
That we saw Sean doing. You know, earlier in the stream, it was body lock passing, so a tighter form of passing. Then the third one being passing with the threat of submissions, which you didn't do like per se here, but when you sat to this ankle, you know, depending on how this played out, you could have eventually off balanced Josh and used it to like, you know, come up on top or whatever. It wouldn't have been the same as using a Kimura to set up passing pressure or a guillotine to set up passing pressure. But those are the kind of three things you can focus in on, and then go in and pick the one you like, work on it a bunch, pick another one, work on it a bunch, and develop your guard passing game from there. And I think, like, in response to Jordan had a question about passing Chris's guard a couple weeks ago in the stream, and my response was, I go through everything. You know, Chris plays a very tight game, so I think we might see it later on this one. I rely heavily on double unders, like double under legs, to get his legs out of my way. But a lot of times it then switches from there, you know. So I go through a whole litany of things. I think I attempted Darce on him to get around his legs at one point. So it's a whole nother study. That's why jiu-jitsu's fun. Rush doing a good job getting behind me here. I don't like to rely too much on like the leg locks against an opponent behind me. Against someone who, like, if you did it to me, I would immediately try to knee bar you. But like, I think Rush is still trying to develop his leg lock.
Oh yeah.
So I try not to rely too heavily on them.
Yeah, double unders is a good pass. I really enjoy it. You wind up learning how to shut it down, but it's still a formidable pass against somebody who's, especially late in the round.
Yeah,
it's tough to fend that off. It was good leg pummeling by Rush there. Watch how he uses his left leg. Yeah, right there.
Yep.
His right leg, actually. It's good.
Let's see what Joe's going to do with this mount position. Andrew. So, Joe, what I was hoping to see from you here, because you're in a great spot. You've got Andrew's left arm very well isolated, like he's not getting that elbow down, and then this is pinned to the floor. This is a mounted variation of the push-pull triangle, right? The one that we learned from close guard on like our first time ever learning triangles, where we pull one arm towards us and we push the other arm into their chest and we throw our leg up over the arm that we push. This is your opportunity to throw this leg over his shoulder and keep his arm on the outside, giving you one arm in and one arm out. So next time you find yourself here, and I feel like you kind of do from time to time. I feel like we've seen you here before. You can start thinking about mounted triangles, and then either finishing them from mount, or opting to roll to your back and finishing them from there. Whatever you like. So with Rush here, this was a very annoying position for me. So he's pinning my arm very well. Like I could not extend. I couldn't pummel my arm. I couldn't frame him or anything like that. But what he wasn't doing was progressing. So I'm kind of lightening my decreasing the tension in my body, pushing against him, trying to move whatever, because he had good control over me. But my intention became to slip this arm into a hip framing position so that I could actually expose my back and give him either something to attack that I could then initiate a scramble from, or just frame and regard or whatever. So once I get my arm in, you'll see I turn towards him and start to work my way out from the pin. Capture the leg, go into my trying an elbow escape. I may have hit I think I hit a little kip there.
And then straight into the legs too.
Yeah, a kip escape, got my knee up, go into the legs. Again, I try not to throw the leg stuff on too quickly while he's working through those positions. But once there, I recapture the knee.
Yeah, it's solid.
But yeah, I mean, if he was, if this was a match and he was up on points and he felt like stalling out the rest of the round there, I didn't have a good way of getting out of that pin as he had it. Trying to do the overtie arm pull there.
Yep.
Let him get up, hit the overtie. It gets him down.
He does. You get straight into that front headlock. I like that a lot. I like how you're keeping him inverted.
Yeah, I was trying. I wanted to roll him through on this, but he managed to slip his arm out enough. I think I actually was trying to submit him here briefly, but I knew that he was slipping it. And he said it was tight, but he's like, once the shoulder started popping through, there was no way I was going to get it.
There's some good maneuvering by him. I actually really like. I like the way that he had his left hand on your right ankle, and your right his right instep was inside of your hamstring. This is a really it's a tough position for the guard player, in my opinion, because you don't really have a whole lot of hip mobility here, right? Like you can't generate a whole lot of hip movement. You can't switch from one side to the other. You get kind of stuck, especially on that outside leg, with that almost superficial De La Riva hook. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was just gonna say I can't set up a De La Riva. I can't bring my knee up higher and use it to push against the pull of my arm, like getting that kind of countered forces. And then I can't establish a butterfly hook either, so I'm kind of pinned. Best case is, I may have been able to try to pull him with a collar tie or something, but
for a military press, talk to Joe about the military press. Not me. It's my weakest.
It's everybody's weakest. Rush does so well in scrambling.
You're right in on the leg though.
Yeah. I would like to win the scrambles, but
hey,
I don't mind taking the legs. I'm pretty comfortable in that reverse ashi, or as it's now being called, top ushiro ashigarami. Then we're over.
We really need a consortia of jiu-jitsu so that we can standardize on naming convention.
Yeah. Yeah, we need like bulletins going out. Scrambling man, dude. Did we miss Luke's sit-out example against Danny? I don't think he and Danny have gone yet.
No, he was with Justin on that last roll.
Yeah. So Luke putting to work his
Good point, Mango.
never get. Oh, dude, no. 10th Planet doesn't have a chair at the Jiu-Jitsu naming convention consortium, in my opinion. This is one of Luke's preferred methods for shutting down the standing guard break. So, I think Joe lately has been really practicing the scoop grip to the then opening the legs, inverting the knee, and entering into a leg lock position. Luke likes to use this more as a pendulum sweep. So he'll scoop the leg. You can see he's hanging heavy on Duncan here, and then what we don't see is Luke's right arm has Duncan's left arm under control. Maybe we'll see it on the sweep here, and then Luke opens his legs and swings his leg out in that direction to get him off balance. Because Duncan most likely had that arm under control, Luke had his arm under control. He didn't have a base in that direction, and that's how Luke's able to get that sweep. So another standing counter, if you can keep their posture broken, which again, everybody getting sick of me saying it, that's why you really need to focus on standing up straight when you're in a standing guard break. Must be cool to see how Chris handles Sean's pressure and how Sean handles Chris's guard. Gavin with the hip bump. Oh man, I've been watching Pat and Kayla up in the corner here. Let's so Pat's really bugging the head, going upstairs a lot, little fake punching, but then watch this little foot sweep. That was like so well timed.
It really was.
Caleb real light on the front foot, and then as he goes to plant, it's suddenly not there. And it looks like, ooh,
Pat's really been focusing on foot sweeps, and it shows on this one in particular.
So yeah,
Oh, damn.
Caleb's head way out in front of his feet here, and then this looks so terrible in slow mo. Watch his right foot. Goes through all sorts of angles there.
Dude, yeah, he really is. He's hyper focused on certain aspects of the game, and yeah, that's when you can really have some huge milestones, breakthroughs.
Yeah, that was awesome. And he set it up all with striking. All striking feints, just constantly hitting at his head. Now those are the prettiest foot sweeps, are the ones that are timed to remove a foot as you go to step on the foot. It's one thing to like kick a foot out from underneath somebody, but when somebody is stepping and their body thinks that foot's going to be there and all of a sudden it's not and they haven't adjusted, it's just magical.
Sean's given up on passing. He sat back to his butt.
Oh, interesting.
Now it's Chris's turn to see if he can get by.
Sean laying on some guillotine pressure here. I wonder if Sean's been working on he gets the high elbow guillotine. Or close to a high elbow, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe not technically like the Marcel
High wrist,
but
maybe? I don't know.
yeah, it's hard to see the grip. Sean was trying to hit that earlier on somebody too.
Okay. Missed that one. you sit like that while passing, that's right. Yeah, it's a sweep for the other guy. That's right.
If the other guy gets up, yeah.
Yeah, if the other guy gets to his knees, um, then it's a sweep for them. So Jordan, when just watching you and Brandon, you're having you have opportunities when somebody's throwing their legs up around you like that. That's what we're talking about, the double unders. Um, you're kind of in a prime position. You wind up going down to your knees here in a second, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Right
Oh
about
yeah,
here.
this is perfect
Now
time to do
you're
it.
Yeah, you're in prime time here. Left arm digs under the right leg, right arm digs under the left leg, and now you're going to start stacking and passing.
Yeah,
We can go over it in more detail. It's more detailed than that.
I think that'd be a really good pass for Jordan to start playing with.
I agree.
But want to work stand up and get obliterated? You can work stand up with Bertram. How about that?
Yeah.
I'll be happy to watch that. Sorry, I just want to get caught up on the chat before I go on a tirade here. Combat Jiu-Jitsu is the future. Maybe. I don't know. I won't compete in it. So, Jordan, one thing to point out to you and to everybody here, especially, only a couple weeks out from the leg lock sprint that we did. The reason this is such a valuable position for you is because both of your legs have the inside position right now. So, you want to talk about recognizing this and executing more. Dude, the first step is recognizing the leg position, not just the opportunity, the singular opportunity of the double ankles or the double underhook sweep. But from here, this is where, like we saw Joe earlier, sitting in on a leg lock when he was getting tired of passing attempts. You have to have double inside leg position for that. When you see somebody, we just saw, or Mike pointed out, Sean and the leg pummeling, light passing, float passing kind of stuff, that comes from, or it's successful when it starts from this inside leg position. So like this is where a lot of magic happens. And when you have an opponent, playing this game with you here, and you can control the legs, control the knees like you're doing now, all you have to do is beat that left ankle, and all of a sudden, but like this is good. I'm gonna let this play. So you pummel over that left ankle, and then he switches to that leg, which is good. Brandon's doing the right thing, trying to disrupt your base. He's letting you get a little too close right now. But I love this little just pummel back over, and right here, this is your zone. Like this is where you got to get to work. So recognize that first. Start understanding the value of that double inside leg position. And then, I mean, right here, double underhooks all day for the pass. But yeah, that'll be a good place to start, I think, for you. So you got the arm triangle that you're working on now. You can throw in the double underhook passing as a good place to start for your guard passing, and kind of start building a more offensive mindset. I always tell you guys, like one-on-one when I talk about that stuff with you, like that's where jiu-jitsu starts to get really fun, where you're not just like trying to survive being pinned and how do I get out of these pins. Like you start recognizing those positions to turn the tables and go on the attack. Then it gets even more addicting, and you spend even more time away from your wife and family. And get in trouble more often for it.
Yeah. Pretty regularly.
Meanwhile, Luke over here in the side with the triangle and armbar on Duncan.
Yeah, not to belabor it any further, but Jordan, you have a double under right now.
Yeah.
Again, it's glaring, like it continues to show just in this one roll. So we should definitely go over this. If you're there tomorrow, please remind me, and we can at least go over it.
Yeah, Mango, to your point, curious if it looks like maybe Brandon trying to step over into that triangle. I don't know how his leg got up there, but he takes his knee up at some point right there. Oh, I guess as Jordan goes to bridge. So Brandon, if you watch, you're adjusting to this like you would if you were setting up a modified mount, where you plant the foot next to the stomach and then bring the knee up behind the head. Jordan has gone back down to his back, so you don't want to be in this position. You want to just go back to your standard mount from here. There's no value in keeping that leg up unless Jordan's arms are unlocked and you can like set up to a mounted triangle. You're just off balance here, which Jordan I think realizes and takes advantage of. Yeah, focus on avoiding. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you did well there, Jordan, in keeping your hands clasped together. But then, yeah, Mike, to your point, another good double unders opportunity, or even like an over under sweep. Maybe not there for the over under, but it was a good round. Braden calling out Luke. Rush and Sean. I don't think that they rolled until today either. Maybe another good roll to watch. And Andrew, for this little takedown. So Andrew's going for some foot sweeps on me too. And I think maybe some Osotogari's. So right there, he this was maybe like the second or third time he goes to like take a swing at my leg, get it out of the way. I'm ready for the next one.
Yeah.
And this is honestly, Andrew, not to mince words, this is just kind of a bad Osotogari setup. You're very much like I am flanking you right now. So with your leg up in the air, I kind of just throw you down to the mat by the collar tie. It didn't take too much from there. It was just your legs up. All right, I'm gonna put you down. So don't get too eager on the Osotogaris. I know they've been working for you, and I'd like to see you to continue getting better at those. Just got to recognize the right opportunities. Rubber guard for a second. In our school? Maybe, what, did Sean throw that up? Or I don't know who was doing rubber guard. Oh, maybe. Oh, Brandon did it right at the end of the round. Yeah, he was just about to go MMA on him. Or CJJ.
I'm really liking how Sean is trying to set up that arm drag. He's also trying to play a shin to shin. Curious to see how it's going to play out for him. The shin to shin is an interesting. It's a very simple guard to play, right? But it maintains that you have to have an upper body connection. Like you have to have your hands on their legs at all times. You have to have constant tension from your shin to their shin. Mm-hmm. If you allow them to take a step back, then you no longer have a threat with that guard.
Yeah, I've never gotten too comfortable there. It's definitely an undeveloped or an underdeveloped part of my game. I just feel like by the time I'm close enough to establish a shin-to-shin contact, they're already too close to me, and like I need to be responding to something else. Probably leaving some leg locks on the table there, but I just feel more comfortable from a bit more space, I think. All right, Jordan, standing guard break. Gets the legs open, pins the knees. Danny working to that like K guard position. Jordan, fight for that underhook, man. Danny's got the underhook right now.
Rush is going through. He just went through a textbook half guard weak side pass. So kind of like what we talk about when you don't have the underhook on the far side, not committing to or not even attempting a baseball like a knee cut pass, right? So the knee cut would be if he takes his right knee over Sean's right hip going that way, and he doesn't, right? He takes his right knee and he continues to pin it so that Sean is on his weak side. And then now he goes and establishes a nice upper body connection, drives his knee over. Yeah, that's right. He walks it back to try and see if he can clear his knee line first. Gets his knee out, and now he starts walking up the body and getting out of the half guard. So very good
Slips the heel.
pass from half guard.
Well, good, Jordan. I'm glad you at least had the awareness on it. One thing I've noticed with Andrew, in every roll I have with him, it was a fun foot sweep against him, is his like really, really good strength. Through not just like in the arms, but like through his torso. Like breaking him down with snap downs isn't very easy to do. And I honestly think that he could benefit a lot from more traditional wrestling takedowns, like singles and doubles. I know he's gravitating to the Sotogari right now, which is great. But I think he could barrel through people and get some really good takedowns. Like he just has to learn how to finish in safe positions, mitigate the risk of the guillotine, get to cross-side, all that stuff. I think he could be a really big problem standing.
Rush is seems like he's on a mission.
Got a little too high, off balance there.
Yeah. He's trying to set up an armbar, a pendulum sweep, actually. Yep.
He about has it. He has what he needs. He's got Sean's arm trapped. So I think what he's fighting against here is his own right leg. So
yep.
You see him trying to cut the angle, but watch his right leg. It stays engaged against his against Sean's torso. This is a tough call for me. I feel like his right leg is what's shutting this down. Like I feel like he can invert his knee more. His knee is kind of pointing to the ground. But I think that's what's keeping him from getting the angle there.
Trying to throw up a triangle here. Hip bump.
The hip bump. Really was trying to sell the hip bump. Didn't have a plan B off of it. I think he kind of lost his balance there a bit. Good round, though. All right, Russian Joe. This is the last round. I guess we missed Luke's epic sit-out on Danny. Oh, no,
they're going now.
What's that? So Luke with a tripod-ish sweep.
Yeah, so I guess we could use that as an example to like the previous shin on chin comment, right? Is like when you can see how it's not exactly a shin on chin, but it's getting there. But you can see how Luke has his right hand on Danny's ankle here. That's allowing him to keep constant tension on the legs. You know, he doesn't have the traditional right hook necessarily, like behind the knee, and that's okay. Like that's all he needs is to push his shin into Danny's shin and kind of get it pointed over towards us. So there's I don't know. That's just an interesting example, or it's very similar to a shin on chin play.
Yeah, but then he also has the upper body contact here that you were talking about. Like he has the wrist control, so he can he can push and pull at the lower body and the upper body, or pull at the upper body at least. Danny was sprawling really well there. Like he was taking the opportunity away from Luke, but then he squares up with him and gives him the other leg.
He tries to hook it to get into the...
Yeah, you're right. I thought Luke switched to a double there. Caleb do? Just a little cross-side smother action. What a jerk. Danny's doing a good job disrupting the back take here.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of in survival mode. And let's see, Joe. Let's see how Joe got to top position. Looks like just his over the head sweep. That was interesting. Took kind of a like shovel grip on that, like he shoveled him over, you know?
Yep.
Almost like the ghost pass, ghost sweep, whatever. I guess it's because Rush is pretty committed on the crossface that this worked. Couldn't get the arm out in time.
Yeah, he traps his own arm. Yep.
Cole's smashing me up in the corner. I forgot about this. So Cole's top pressure from guard pass to him trying to break my arm, the entire time felt like there was just an anvil on my upper body. Like his top pressure was super tight the entire way through, which was really good.
That is good.
So big sit out. Mango, there you go. So Luke shoots in on the double. Danny sprawls. And then let's see, Mango, to your earlier question, Danny's knees are off the mat for this one. So going to be a bit more of a violent fall for him when Luke gets out of the way. That's rad. But no, even though Danny is laughing his way through this and would have gotten his face beaten into oblivion, you know, the real takeaway here, kind of like what I said earlier, was sprawl, and then Luke's immediately looking to move and take the back. So, like, regardless of how you do it, you gotta finish the sit out. I don't care how you do it, you just gotta get to that finish. 9.5 level OS. 100%. Couldn't get an advancement from South Control, so I ended up trying something. Didn't pan out. And actually, you know what, Caleb, if you're still in the chat, I want you to take note of this sit out as well, just because I know Luke and I were talking about it with you a couple
I'd
weeks
rather
ago.
him not, because I like this position on Caleb.
Yeah, we don't need him understanding how to handle turtle position any better, but look at Luke's elbow position inside the armpit. He drops his hips to the mat. You know, this isn't, I can't remember exactly. It was maybe over a month ago that we were talking about it with him. But as he comes out here, you know, he's not rolling in this direction. Like it's not like he's rolling his whole body through. He just kind of shucks Danny off his back and then continues to roll in the direction he's facing, and then comes up to top position. It's really wearied, disconnected. I just can't perform that. You can't spell either. Figure it out. Okay? Figure it out, because it's an important move that you should be able to do. You couldn't do anything when you started jiu-jitsu, so you learn it by doing it.
Thanks, Sean.
What's up, bud?
I didn't see you in the chat.
Yeah, you gotta chime up, bro. Join the party.
I try to refresh the chat. I mean, we say it every time, but Twitch does a terrible job of actually showing who's in the chat.
Yeah. So Rush gets the sweep here up to close guard.
Yes, like Caleb right here would be a opportune time for the sit out.
I like that little leg trap he did. Just kind of grabbing Brandon's leg here as he leaves it behind.
Yep.
As long as you can keep his hips to the side of your head and not getting behind your head, you're probably safe here. The fact that you have that leg under control will make it difficult for him to elevate his hips, so that's a good thing. Just got to be careful how you come up out of this. Yep, big heavy shoulder pressure. Excellent. Excellent.
Did Cole get you earlier?
What was that sub on Jameson? I believe, yeah, the one he got me with at first was, I think it was just a straight arm from mount. Yeah, he extended my right arm, and I didn't feel like fighting that. No, can't say I didn't feel like fighting it. He had my arm, so. Yeah, Mango, it is. It's definitely one worth practicing, and it took me time to learn how to use it too. But it's come in handy before in the past, so highly recommend it. But cool, great chat today. There you are. Sorry, you disappeared for a second. Yeah, great footage. Thank you so much, guys, for watching and for participating and asking good questions and commenting and all that stuff. We always enjoy it. Trim your GD nails. That's right. That way Mango doesn't get scratched on the back of his neck. I don't. Nobody does. Wash your belt. Yeah. What else? I don't know. You guys know everything. Keep in mind anything we talk about here. Bring it up to us in class if you guys want to work on more stand-up or guard passing or whatever else that we talked about today.
Double underpassing. Yeah.
Yeah, double unders. Habanero. Don't even worry about. Hey, I do. I don't know who you're talking to, Justin. I definitely wear my belt, just not for competition. And for our remaining key classes at the school. Yeah. So, in any case, oh, Caleb doesn't. Yeah, Caleb can't find a belt that fits him. So, had to sneak in a little bit more body shaming. In any case, thank you guys. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks for the new follows. Please follow if you haven't, if you guys are lurking in the chat. And subscribe if you can. Give us your Twitch Prime. It always helps the stream. We really, really do appreciate it. And yeah, you guys can now send us voice or AI voice messages, not your own voice, because I won't tolerate that, through the chat. And I think even a message. There might be a donate button I need to set up or something. I think I'm gonna get away from coffee because I think we've used them like twice. So in any case, I'm trying to mine Twitch for everything they can do for us. So ground's disappearing from under you, Justin. What else? Yeah, subscribe here, subscribe on YouTube, all that good stuff. Let us know if you guys want to compete. I think I'm going to print out the upcoming competition schedule. It's just too much to write on our chalkboard at this point. So, yeah. Anything else? Thanks for joining, Mike.
Training tomorrow. We got Thursday class.
Yes. Yeah, get back to Thursday class. I think I may actually be up there tomorrow as well. Sean, thank you for the subscription, my man. Enjoy those emotes. Yeah. Anyway, all right, guys. You know the deal. Go trim your nails and do your laundry and don't be stinky and get your asses back to classes, and we'll see you guys there. Take it easy.
Later.